Welcome to Module 2, Lecture 2. I know you learned about the consumer decision-making process in your Principles of Marketing class, but today we're going to take it a bit further, on steroids if you will, talking about some data applications. So real quickly, this is something that you've seen before. That consumers typically go through a process when deciding on a purchase. They don't always go through a long process, and obviously it would be different if you were buying a car, something high involvement, versus a pack of gum or a bottle of water or something like that. But this is typically what we see as the decision-making process. I don't really like this word problem recognition because it's not always a problem that starts your search for information. Sometimes it's a need. So let's call it need and problem recognition. And I'm going to tell you as we go through these stages what kind of data companies might be looking at as they try to appeal to consumers in different stages. So for need problem recognition, we do a lot of things in terms of consumer surveys, finding out what kind of products and what product configurations consumers want to see in the marketplace. We can also find out what type of needs are unmet. And then we might capitalize on this information by reminding consumers of these unmet needs. For example, I've done work with companies that produce steam cleaners, and here's one thing that they want to remind consumers of, that just because you don't smell your dogs in your house, well, your neighbors and your guests who come over might. So that's a reminder that they're trying to trigger that first step. Here's another reminder here that you can see they're trying to trigger that first step of a consumer recognizing they have a problem, with Crest doing this tissue test in their ads, saying you should compare your teeth to a white tissue. And then of course, a lot of you maybe have dropped your phone in water before, and it's not a good thing. So companies are recognizing that this is a big unmet need of having phones that are water resistant. So those are just a few examples. We search for information in many different ways. We talk to people, we watch ads. Of course it's different than it was years ago. How is it different? Well, obviously the big thing now is that we search digitally. We look at consumer reviews, and if you're like many folks, you start out a search on Google when you're interested in any kind of product category, whether you're looking for a new laptop, a voice-activated assistant, or a textbook or whatever, you're probably going to use Google. And we have all sorts of great data we can look on and use on Google for free, actually. This particular is Google Insights, Google Trends, in which I looked at, this was from, I'm trying to think, about the past 5 years on searches on self-driving cars, and it's indexed at 100. So you can see that there was almost nothing 5 years ago, and you can see how it's really risen. So companies can get an idea of what people are searching for in order to really find out what unmet needs are out there. And now, of course, we're starting to see all kinds of cars advertised for self-drive. Here's another one I looked at, pretty interesting. I went back 10 years on this one. I've done a lot of work helping food companies understand what trends are, what consumers are looking for in products, and what kind of things they're trying to avoid. And in this particular one, I did a search for high protein foods from 2004, and you can see an upward trend from 2004 to 2014. And not coincidentally, we see all kinds of protein products. This one looks kind of gross to me, protein water. I was kind of interested in the dip every year and then how it would go back up. This is actually December. You'll notice the dip every year in searching for high protein foods is in December. So I guess that's not on the meal for holiday dinners. Go figure. But anyway, that's one type of data companies can use to really get a feel for what kind of things are consumers looking for as they start searching for products. We evaluate our alternatives. And companies want to know, who are they stacked up against? What are their main competitors? And we can obviously look at market share data, which is available. We can look to see how our brand scores on brand awareness. That goes back to last week in the marketing funnel. We want to know if we're top of mind or not in whatever the product category is. We want to be top of mind because we obviously want to be one of those few brands that are ultimately selected or narrowed down to. We can also look at survey data to know what is the likelihood purchase intent that people are going to purchase our product versus our so you can see the conversion rates on traditional computers is just south of 6%. It goes all the way down to only 3% on smartphones. So it's very, very, very low conversion rate. So if you've ever done anything in e-commerce, don't be surprised if you have a lot more website visits than you have actual purchases, and that's just par for the course. These are some percentages here. I wanted to show you this because Domino's has done such a great job. I never thought of them as such an innovative pizza company, but they have become the predominant digital pizza company, and they've improved their conversion rate. From an article that I just shared with some of my students, it used to take 25 steps to order a pizza from their app, and now you can do it simply by tweeting a single tweet and you can track it. So they've done a great job of improving online conversion. Post-purchase behavior. Why is it important for us to look beyond just the purchase? Well, obviously because we want customers to come back. We want repeat purchase, and we're going to talk about customer satisfaction in the next lecture. And so one of the ways we do that is and this comes from another study that I'll be sharing data with you all with, we measure how satisfied people are with our product or service so we can find out how to keep them and make them more satisfied. And we can also do social media listening. Chipotle, they recently introduced queso dip, and from looking at some of these tweets here that are very current just from the last couple days, we see that it's an abomination from God, it's mediocre at best, and well, you get the idea here. So this is one way that we can really get a feel for how people feel after the purchase.